Missing someone.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Impulsive Thoughts. I am joined here today with, well, in person, Mr. Donnie Rowe.
Hello.
And Miss Alli P.
Meow.
And on the phone, I have Dano.
Hello there.
How's it going, guys? How's everybody doing?
Good day, mates. Good day, listeners. How are you today?
How's everybody doing today?
It's Friday. I'm great.
Yes, it is indeed Friday. We weren't even sure if we were going to record today.
No, we were all sure, but Don was the only one, apparently, that was unsure.
Well, when you get told no and then you don't hear anything else.
But then we all knew, but then Don didn't know.
It was never a no. Last I heard.
It was when I texted Lupe
long.
this morning.
But then Lupe immediately turned around and texted me and was like, Don's available. He just forgot to tell Don that he's clear.
Yeah.
Oops.
I didn't hear back from him until I got the message that said, "Hey, you good for 7:30?" I'm like,
Sure.
Sure.
Just remember who the real bestie is. It's me.
Yeah. Allie's taking my place in more places than one.
Show have.
I don't want to know what that means.
You don't want to know.
I'm filling all the crevices, Don.
Oh, okay.
I mean, even I kind of have to wonder about that one.
Yeah.
I guess what Lupe doesn't know doesn't hurt.
Yeah. I just saw a
it.
thing for UPS and it just made me giggle, and it was this guy holding this girl's butt and says, "What can Brown do for you?" And I just found that very appropriate because you got mad that you were my first Brown boyfriend. Anyways, so.
Oh, I don't know what you just said there.
Oh, yeah, Danny didn't hear that.
That's fine. Lupe, what can Brown do for me?
No, I heard the Working Brown, but you said that was your first and then you started laughing. I didn't know what you were first what.
It's fine.
So that's good. That's good. I'll drop it. I don't want to know.
Yeah, it's a sore subject for me.
I'm sure it is.
You do a lot.
Oops.
Are you good over there?
No, fidgety.
Because he's uncomfortable. Because I'm filling all his gaps and cracks.
Well, it's been a great episode, guys. I'll see you later.
That's all it took.
That's all. Whoa.
So, yeah.
All right, Loop Sir, stop delaying. Let's go. Come on.
All right. Well, I'm hoping to have a really good episode for us today.
You will.
I'm after 2 years of having almost 2 years, because I know if I say 2 years, Don will immediately say, "No, it's not 2 years." Because he did that to me at the 1 year anniversary. It was like 3 days before, and I was like, "It's been a year," and he goes, "No, it hasn't." I'm like, "You're a dick. Shut up." He's laughing because he knows it's true. So, anyway, after almost 2 years and countless sitting in my mom's backyard talking conspiracy theories, I'm finally covering Tupac Shakur.
Ooh.
And
there's no conspiracy. He's still alive. He's hanging out with Elvis.
And so, actually, like, I wanted to cover him because just recently more development has became of the case, because they raided somebody's house a few days
in Vegas.
Yeah, a few days ago in Vegas. So, but
Suge Knight.
Well, Suge Knight's in jail. He's been in. He just recently got sentenced. I think 2018, Dan.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw.
28 years for involuntary manslaughter.
Oh shit!
Or second degree murder. I can't remember the actual charge.
But they've been real tight-lipped about what they were actually looking for.
Right? Yeah, they
in Vegas.
Right, and I know just recently, like they Sorry, Alli has to go take a phone call. Just recently, I think in January was when Kiefer D, I can't remember his name. Was it Kiefer D?
Mm-hmm.
Had admitted that his nephew Kiefer D, whatever the fuck his name is, had admitted that his nephew was the shooter that took the shot out of the back of that Cadillac that night on September 7th.
Ooh.
1996. Yeah. I don't know why I had to look that up. Like, I should know that. So that's why I like this had just came back up to me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna actually look into this and actually cover it. So I've been listening to podcasts and watching different documentaries on Facebook or not on YouTube and shit like that. So, Tupac Shakur, in my opinion, the GOAT.
Mine too.
Don.
He's my favorite.
Don's
We covered
a
that in our
little
music episode.
Don's a little biased. I know his GOAT is Eminem.
There wouldn't be an Eminem without Tupac.
My 1A is like Eminem and Tech.
Tech,
1A,
really?
1B, yeah.
Wow. I would have never.
Overrated.
I would have underrated.
Overrated by Don.
Ice Nine sucks.
Ice Nine kills.
Whatever.
So.
But none of them are as good as Blink. So.
Oh, shout out to James.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back. That was my mother.
Uh-oh.
Everything good?
Yeah, she says, hey, by the way, everyone. I said, you were almost on the pod. And she goes, oh, what are we talking about tonight? And I said, Tupac. She goes, oh, gang signs. And she goes, do you know what I'm doing right now? And I said, yeah, I know what you're doing. She goes, okay, over and out. My mom and I don't say I love you, bye. We say over and out. Like, so yeah. Anyways. Everything is all good, but I answer the phone and she just goes, holy shit. Okay, continue. Let's do this shit.
Okay. So I'm going to do this to the best of my ability.
I heard you from in there.
Yeah, but that was just shit off the top of my head. I haven't even touched this yet.
Which, you don't need to. Put it down and just go.
See, my thing is, like, I will lose everything.
You won't.
He's stalling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The magic of editing is amazing.
Yep. So, you're gonna start when he was born and all that stuff, or are you going straight to everybody knows what Tupac is, or else you're dumb, and then you're gonna start your shit, or what? Come on.
Well, I mean, I feel like
How about
everybody.
start with what was his real name?
Well, his real name was Lassane Parish Crooks.
I did not know that.
And his mother changed it when he was 1 year old.
Yeah.
Did you know why?
Nope.
Because she wanted to name him after a revolutionary.
A Peruvian revolutionary
Yes.
who was killed by the Spanish. So this is a direct quote from her. You ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him to have the name of a revolutionary indigenous people of the world. I wanted him to know he was part of world culture, not just from a neighborhood.
So what did she rename him as?
Tupac Shakur the third.
Oh,
Well, it wasn't just the Tupac part of the name, is the whole Tupac Amaru
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
is
Tupac
the
Amaru
descendant of an
Shakur.
Incan ruler.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
He's also a Gemini.
Yeah.
where did Machiavelli come from then?
That's later down the line. That was after him being in jail for the 9 months that he had served for a sexual assault, and he was into Nikolai Machiavelli, and that's how that pseudonym came from.
Ah, I did not know that much.
So
See, as much as I love Pac, I don't know a lot about him other than his music.
Well, his mother was a political activist.
yeah,
and,
she was part of the Black Panther along with his
didn't know
his original father. Oh, his original father, his biological father.
who was not his
original-
life at all. His original father, yeah,
Yeah,
the OG father.
yeah, OG father.
Well, I think
Wait, Alli, you missed your chance for your Black Panther quote again.
I'm sorry I interrupted your Black Panther. She actually became pregnant with him right when she got out on bail from being charged with. She was charged.
It was conspiracy to bombing several New York
Jesus.
Police officers.
police offices. Yes.
Yeah, and she
she was-
actually represented herself and got herself
Yeah.
off of those charges.
It was like 100 and something counts.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she was out of jail on bail,
Yep.
California dreaming.
Yep.
As soon as she stepped in the scene, did she hear Hoochie screaming?
But yeah.
And
So-
if I remember right from the most recent documentary that came out, they don't actually know who his father was.
Well, damn, I
Really?
thought I had his name written down.
No,
Yeah,
But I don't.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
I
So it's
thought I
not
had
proven
read-
that or not Orlando, Robert something wasn't.
No, one guy claimed to be his dad, but I don't think they knew for sure, according to the documentary.
So he was actually born in East Harlem, New York.
I thought Billy Garland was his
Yeah,
dad.
that's what I was thinking of. Billy Garland. That they said that was his dad, who
So-
was also an activist and
Lost
and-
contact with him when he was 5 and didn't regain contact with Tupac until he was 23.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I read.
It's a good documentary, though, if you want to watch it. It's called Dear Mama.
I started watching it.
Your
But
mama.
those are like, I was like, this is what I'm going to watch today. It's like 5 parts, and each part is like an hour and a half, hour 45 long. I was like, oh my God, this is my whole day. I was like, I got laundry to do. I got time for this.
So Tupac's mom actually wanted to get him out of.
Tupac.
I said Tupac, didn't I?
I know. Just whenever I hear it, I think of the Friday movie.
Oh, I'm like, did I screw up?
No, it's from when he's sitting down watching things like Tupac. I think it was Terry Crews, if I remember right.
Was that next Friday?
Terry Crews was in Friday?
It
was in next
the
Friday.
sequel, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she wanted to move him out of New York. So they ended up moving to Baltimore, Maryland, in '86, and that's where Tupac enrolled in the Baltimore School for Performing Arts.
84.
Thought it was
So wait a minute. Before we get too far along, this is really interesting to me because I don't know all this history. Where did all the West Side love come from if he was born on the East Coast? Dun, dun, dun. I'm sure you're gonna get to it. I know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this is after he eventually moved to California.
He's from the Bronx,
Right.
Yeah.
New York. He was
Right,
born
this
and
was
raised
crazy.
there. Or no, yeah, he's from the Bronx. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
East Harlem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's where it was. Harlem. Sorry, I was doing Bronx. Yeah, Harlem. You're right.
But I mean, it was minutes away from the Bronx.
Okay. All right.
So that's why I said like his mom Afeni wanted to get him out of there.
Yeah.
So they ended up going to Baltimore, Maryland,
Okay. So
and that's where he went to high school and he focused on acting, poetry, and jazz.
right. Okay. So 84, he went to Baltimore School for the Arts.
Yes.
Did you know that that's where he met and became friends with then drug dealer Jada Pinkett Smith?
Yeah. Yeah, I
What?
thought I had that written down. I guess I don't.
Wild, right?
Get
Yeah.
my wife's name out of your motherfucking mouth.
I thought that was pretty crazy, and just
I can't believe I didn't write that down. Shit.
Your pen ran out of ink at the time.
Yeah, we'll go with
I
that.
just want to point out she only wrote down his name at the top of the page.
Danny said that, not me.
No, I didn't.
No, you did say that.
You did it.
I did not say you only.
I said
hit the
only his
playback.
name, but you
Oh,
said
it was Don.
But you said
I said that she wrote down as much as Dan wrote down for Eliza Lamb. So it was Don, not me.
Take it back.
I take it back.
We'll hear it when you play it back, anyways.
She's giving me a look. In 1990, this is when he started becoming a little bit more into rapping and everything like that, and he joined a group called Digital Underground. And if you know Digital
Yes.
Underground, that is
Biz Markie.
what's the guy with the nose?
Humpty
Yeah.
Dance, here's your chance. So not Biz Markie, I was wrong. That was the wrong name. Unless
What
he was
was-
in it too, was he?
What was his name, Don?
who, the one that did the Humpty
They
song?
had,
Shock
yeah, they
G.
had
Shock G.
Shock G.
Shock G, the one that put your satin in your panties.
Sure.
Not my panties.
No, according to him, he did.
And that's
The only
what
reason I know that is because the Digital Underground song that I Get Around with Tupac is one of my top 5 favorite songs of all time.
and that's
I sing
that's
I
a
sing it
great song.
karaoke.
Do you
I sing
really?
it karaoke every chance I get. Oh God, yeah. Every chance I can. I think I told you before, maybe not. I don't know. So this is my love of Tupac. When I first turned 16 and could drive, even before I was 16, I was 15 and my dad let me drive illegally. A 1985 Chevy Celebrity had a cassette player. I had the single, If I Get Around, on there. I'd play it, rewind it, and play it again like at least 30 times in a row. Like that was my jam.
That's hilarious.
It is. And that was I turned 16 in 1994. So that's when I was bumping that song.
So that was right before he had passed. That before he got murdered. So that was 90. He was a backup dancer and rapper for the group. That's when he landed a small part in that song called Same Song.
So is that still on the East Coast? Is he still in Maryland, or did he go to California?
Yeah, he's still in Maryland.
Okay.
That's actually when him and his mom, well, it was the year before, in '89, him and his mom stopped talking because they were really close.
Yeah.
So his mom became addicted to crack.
Yeah.
And so him and his mom stopped talking because, he was selling crack and she succumbed to her crack addiction, and she had no idea that he was doing big things and he was becoming
Wow.
successful, know, and so they lost touch altogether. And so
Wow.
they had a huge falling out and lost all communication. So, and
Holy smokes.
yeah, that's when he when that happened with him, he tried to turn, when I'm saying tried, he tried to steer his life away from crime a little bit, stop, selling as much drugs, and focus more on the music
Yeah.
aspect of it, and put his heart more into poetry and into music and to dance and doing all of that stuff, and focus his head more on that.
Yeah.
So that's when he really got into the music aspect of it and what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then in 91, he landed a role in the movie Nothing But Trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That was... Oh, I thought I wrote that down, too. That wasn't the one with Chevy Chase and
John Candy.
John Candy, was it? Okay. And then I guess he was doing demo tapes and stuff like that, which a demo tape, the co-owner of Interscope Records found one of his demo tapes, and then in September 91, that's when Tupac's debut album, Tupacalypse Now, was released. November 21st in 91.
That was when that album was released, his mom had no idea that like he was achieving success. It took one of her friends telling her like, hey, isn't that your son? And then all of a sudden that was when she like snapped out of it, and she was determined to break loose of her drug addiction. And that they like, I mean, obviously, you know, I don't know how long it took her, but they later reconciled.
Yeah.
And rekindled their relationship, and they remained close for the rest of their life.
Yeah, they got even closer then after that, yeah.
But that's wild, isn't it? Someone had to tell her, hey, your son just released a solo album, and like he's made it.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
And I think it was that album that has been cited by people like Nas and Eminem for inspiration.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was also his first time kind of getting in trouble. Not in trouble, but who was it at the time? I think Dan Quayle was vice president, and he came out against the album, saying that there was nothing like that, and they don't need anything like that in society.
Yep.
Yeah.
Direct quote.
Dan Quayle, who can't spell potato.
There's lots of stuff that talks about killing and drugs. To me, the perfect album talks about the hard stuff, the fun stuff, the caring stuff. The thing that bothers me is it just seems to go unnoticed. The sensitive stuff that I write about goes unnoticed. Basically talking about he wants to write about everything, not just...
So since I don't know my history that well, again, when did the song, was Dear Mama on his first album while she was going through all that stuff, or did he write it later?
No, that was another album. I think the Tupacalypse Now, the biggest song was probably Brenda's Got a Baby.
Yes.
Is Brenda a real person?
So it's pretty much said that Brenda was representing his mother.
He only released 4 albums in his lifetime, but 21 to his name.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Like he released four or five when he was alive. Four when he was alive, and then like after his death, 7 more came out, and then obviously more.
Yeah, he has 21 total to his name, but only 4 were released while he was alive.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think one of them, can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was put together by Eminem.
Really? That's interesting.
I didn't know that.
It has, pretty sure it was. It has like a white cover.
He's the 45th top-selling artist of all time.
Damn. And for only being active for like 4 years.
Tupac's first solo album of his time, so Tupacalypse Now, only sold 500,000 copies.
Huh.
So it had Brenda's Got a Baby on it, and then Soulja Story.
Were his like biggest ones on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was about the killing the cop.
I feel like I skipped a lot of stuff.
Then go.
No, I mean, like, I didn't write down a lot of stuff. I mean, I skipped a lot of stuff in the timeline.
We got your back, Jack.
Thanks.
But it's okay. I didn't do any research.
So,
I just found out who One Pac was this morning, so... Oh, right, Tupac. Sorry, Tupac.
So in 92...
I was just being born in 91, so yeah.
Wow. I was 4. 3. So in 92... Tupac, now a hip-hop star, appeared in the movie Juice. You know what? I've seen that movie. I can't remember it too much. I have to rewatch that. I remember it being a really good movie. And I know there was a situation that I thought I had written down, but there was a situation where one of his he accidentally shot one of his guns that killed a 4 or 6-year-old child.
4-year-old. So he... Go ahead. Do you know it?
No.
So he actually didn't shoot it. He what happened is he dropped his pistol. Somebody else picked it up, fired it, shot a 6-year-old bystander that died. So
Yeah.
it was a 6-year-old. And then he wasn't charged with it, but he was fucked up in the head by it. And then that family brought a civil suit against him.
Yeah, which
Was
it
settled
got
out of
dropped and they settled out of court.
Yeah, Death Row Records offered to pay compensation.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he dropped the weapon, but because it was his weapon, he felt responsible for it.
Right.
And then that happened, something similar to that happened again. I mean, but, like, he actually shot and wounded two off-duty officers.
Two off-duty officers, yes. And that was when
they were in Atlanta.
his entourage, right, almost hit the officers. They were crossing the street, and
So the two officers were off duty. Turns out they had been drinking. I don't know the whole what led up to it, but Tupac shot him, and come to find out that in the long run, both of these officers were harassing him, and they were threatening him with a stolen fucking gun.
yeah.
So, he was defending himself.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Like he pled self-defense and he got off on self-defense charge.
Correct. Yeah, because that's fucked.
Well, I mean that's the justice system anyway.
Well, right.
So let's see, where am I at? In '93, Tupac's second album was released, and it was called "Strictly for My Niggaz." By the following month, it went double platinum. This was his second album. He ended up going to jail because he got into it with a limo driver, and he was charged with assault.
I think that album, two of the more famous songs on it is, I want to say it's I Get Around and Keep Your Head Up.
Too?
What did you
So
say?
he released his own album? I thought that was with Digital Underground.
What's that?
I thought I Get Around was with Digital Underground. I didn't know that was on his own album too.
Yeah, it was on it was on that album. And I think the vinyl had 2 sides to it. Yeah, I think it had, if I remember right, it had I Get Around, Keep Your Head Up, and Holla If You Hear Me. And then it also had a song, I can't remember the name of it, but it had Ice-T and Ice Cube on it.
Bet you that song was cold as hell. That was funny, huh?
Heal me.
So then on July 23rd, 1993, Poetic Justice was released, starring Tupac. Huh?
I love it.
And it starred Tupac as the love interest of Janet Jackson.
My wife. So, a little bit of history there. Janet Jackson, first concert I ever went to my whole life was a Janet Jackson concert. Tony opened up for her. Fun fact number 2, my first Rottweiler I ever had when I was like 15 or 16, I named her Justice because of that movie.
That's another movie I don't remember.
It's also
It's
good.
been a long time since I've seen any of these.
Yeah. It was on TV not long ago, a couple months ago, and I watched it again.
Was it really?
Yeah.
So Tupac actually dated Madonna for a while.
And broke up with her via letter while he was in jail because she's white.
I didn't read that.
Broke up with her in jail via letter because she's white.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow.
So this is when it starts, and then like, okay, so that was July 23rd, 93. That was Poetic Justice. In November of 93, that's when shit really started going down. Tupac and his entourage was charged for sexually assaulting 19-year-old Ayanna Jackson. And Tupac said he and Jackson had prior relations like a few days earlier. I guess she gave him head at a fucking a concert or some shit like that. What was it?
I don't remember. But if this is the one I'm thinking of, then this is the situation. Is this a situation where he left her in the hotel room?
Well, yeah, with the other guys or whatever.
But she said that he was still there.
Mm-hmm. So during the trial, Tupac said, I quote, "How am I going to force a woman to do something to me that we've already done consensually? If the case is about me and this girl, then we wouldn't be here. I'm guilty of a lot of things, but I'm not guilty of rape. Just because I don't want to be with a girl doesn't mean they can accuse me of rape. It's a crime for that girl to turn this into a rape charge. In the report, it says I was in concert. Where were the other guys? I don't want to go to jail for something I didn't do." In the end, he was found guilty, and he had to serve 1.5 to 4 years.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, backtracking a little bit, before the sentencing, Tupac was actually ambushed at Quad City Studios in Manhattan Times Square. He was allegedly shot 5 times, but reports say he accidentally shot himself in the leg. So, I guess you can say he kind of sucks with a gun.
Yeah.
A little. I mean, I can't say that I would be much better if someone's shooting the fuck at me and I'm trying to run away.
Right, and yeah,
Shit
and that's
gets
the thing. Like
crazy.
he was ambushed. Like they were trying to rob him. I guess the setup was Haitian Jack. Like he wanted him to record at the studio for like $7,000, and at the time Tupac was like hard up for money anyway.
Yeah.
Trying to fight these legal battles and everything like that.
Right.
And
I mean, what are you gonna do?
right, so $7,000 was looking pretty nice.
$7 looks pretty nice right now to me. You know what I mean?
And that's actually when him and Big started falling out because he thought it was Big's crew that did it.
Right, right.
Jesus, Don.
So yeah, he accused Notorious B.I.G. and Puff Daddy and Haitian Jack for the ambush, and originally Tupac and Christopher Wallace, who is Notorious B.I.G., were actually really good friends. So what I read was after Tupac got ambushed and shot, he managed to get on the elevator, go up to the floor where the other guys were at, sat on the couch, rolled a blunt before they even called the ambulance. That's what I read. There's different stories on that too. Like there's stories where they came down and he was already getting wheeled out on a stretcher.
But if that's his story and he's sticking to it, then do you, boo.
So hey, I have to dip out. I gotta go. It's getting dark outside. I gotta go find my kids and put them to bed.
Find your kids.
All right, yeah, that's fine.
So I look forward to listening to the rest of this. Good job, guys.
See you later.
Peace out, Alli, Donnie, Lupe.
Bye.
Later.
Yeah.
Bye.
So then going back forward to the court case, Tupac actually checked himself out against doctor's orders 3 hours after his surgery from the shooting to go
Finish recording.
to go to the court case for the sexual assault charge.
I'm sorry. I didn't finish recording.
And that's when East and West really started beefing. because he thought that it was Biggie and Puffy, or Diddy, or P Diddy, or Puff Daddy, or Sean Combs. How many other names does he have, Don?
Too many.
Anyway, the sexual assault charge, he had a bail set for $1.4 million. This is when he signed a really shady fucking deal with Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records.
So they would fucking pay his bail.
Yeah, so they would pay his bail and get him out of jail.
Because he was in a maximum security prison.
Yeah.
And
so
that was fucking sketchy as hell. I was reading about that and I was like, oh.
So I actually found the actual letter. Well, not letter, but the written
agreement.
The actual written agreement that they signed. And I'm gonna download it so I can get pictures of it. I'll post it on Facebook, on Instagram. Yeah, it's nuts. Like, it's all handwritten. It was like 3 or 4 pages.
Does it look fucking sketchy?
Yeah, it really does. Like, it just looks like somebody just wrote shit down, and it was pretty much signing a deal with the devil.
Shut up.
Yeah. So
what was the bail amount?
1.4 million. So 10% of 1.4 million. What is that? 140,000.
Still.
Yeah.
Still. I mean, but yeah, he was in a fucked up prison.
Yeah. And the agreement was he signs with Death Row Records and he produces 3 albums for them so he can get the bail. Mm-hmm. Which is weird because, like, that's fine, but he was actually paying for his own bail because all the money that he was making for all these records and albums that he was producing for Death Row, all the money that he should have been getting was going all towards that bail and for all the other shit that his lifestyle, his ravish lifestyle and shit like that.
Right.
So he wasn't seeing much money at all.
Right.
Like they said, when he actually died, he had $100,000 in his account.
Yeah.
And he was going platinum on some of these albums that he was producing.
Well, right. And I mean, they were robbing him.
Yeah, oh, big time.
They were fucking him. They were screwing him back.
Yeah. So actually before he actually got let out at the Source Awards, Suge Knight had, I can't remember what it was, but he had won, was it Best Album for, what movie was it? It wasn't Juice. Was it Above the Rim?
Might have been.
So this is when shit really started getting crazy because Suge Knight ended up dissing Puffy and Bad Boy Records. And I actually have a clip of that.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. Second of all, I'd like to thank my whole entire Death Row family on both sides, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to tell Tupac to keep his guards up. We ride with him. And one other thing I'd like to say, any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing, come to Death Row.
That's when shit really started getting super heated with East and West. Suge Knight was part of the Bloods, and
Did it say what month that was? Do you remember?
that was August.
Oh, August. Okay.
August 3rd, 95.
So that was after Me Against the World came out,
Yeah.
which had Dear Mama on it.
Mm-hmm. So Tupac ended up serving 9 months in jail, and that's when he really became interested in the Italian philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli, which inspired Machiavelli, his pseudonym. He released his 4th album, All Eyes on Me, February 13th, 96. And then ultimately on September 7th, 1996, Tupac and Suge Knight were attending a Mike Tyson fight that lasted less than 2 minutes
At the MGM.
at the MGM.
In Las Vegas.
They were leaving the fight. After the fight was over, they were leaving, and they ran into one of the guys that rolled with Suge and them seen, what was his name, Orlando
Brown.
who actually robbed one of the Death Row Records guys of the fucking
chain.
Yes, the chain that was worth, I guess, like $15,000 at that time. So they seen him. Tupac walked up to him and he asked Orlando, "Are you from the South?" Meaning if he was from the what was it, South? Well, anyway, they jumped him. They beat his ass. They left. They ended up jumping in. Actually, no. They went back to one of the hotels so they can change. And at the time, Tupac was wearing a bulletproof vest all the time, and he actually left his bulletproof vest in his hotel room, and which was very odd for him not to wear it, because he used to wear it all the time. He also told his girlfriend at the time to stay at the hotel, and he ended up getting in the car with Suge, and not his security. Security was following him, and they ended up running into some fans of his. I guess it was a few females or something like that, and they were shouting back and forth to between cars, and a white Cadillac pulled up on the side of him, and somebody from the back seat ended up firing, I think, 13 or 14 shots into the car, hitting Tupac 4 times, twice in the chest, once in the arm, and I think once in the leg. And bullet fragments actually hit Suge Knight in the head, but he ended up managing to drive about a mile away, where he jumped a curb and blew out his tires and couldn't drive anymore. And actually, like, before all this happened, they were actually pulled over by bicycle police because they were playing their music so loud. They were playing
Get in the basket.
They were playing the music so loud, and they didn't have a license plate on the car, which is weird. But like little things like that, like they didn't have a license plate on the car, and Pac didn't have his bulletproof vest on, makes it like, just there's little things like that add up to like nothing. Like it's just weird, like weird little things that,
Little omens that, like, you got stopped for this, like, turn around, go back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
do not pass go, do not collect $200.
Yeah.
Right.
So after they had wrecked, those same 2 officers that were on the bicycle ended up seeing them again, and rode up to the car, I guess, on their little bike.
They done pedaled, coasted, like,
and
cruised.
Suge ended up getting out of the car, and
They put their kickstands down.
Suge being fucking 6'3" or 6'4",
Big ass dude.
yeah, he was a big guy, and he was like freaking out, but bleeding from the head, and
Did him in the back of the head?
it just grazed his head.
Okay.
So a bullet fragment grazed his head. So at this time, Tupac is like slouched over in the passenger seat, and they finally get him out of the car. Well, the police officer finally get him out of the car, and the police officer also trying to keep Suge out of the way because he's freaking out,
Fucking panicking.
and seems like, you know, he could be a threat because of how big he is.
Right.
And the police officer kept asking Tupac, like, who shot you? Who shot you? And his last words to the police officer were, "Fuck you." So 6 days later, on September 13th, he was actually put into a medically induced coma because he was very restless and he was actually trying to get out of the bed. So they ended up putting him in a medically induced coma. And then 6 days later, on I think it was September 13th. Was that 6 days later? September 13th at 4:03. He had ended up dying.
25 years old.
25 years old, yeah. He was young. Now, Don knows me, and he knows how I've always talked about Tupac being alive still, and there's so many conspiracy theories about him being alive, but there's also conspiracy theories about who killed him. And one of them is that it was P. Diddy had set something up with Crips that there was a bounty on Tupac's head. It was like $1 million bounty that to kill Tupac. And there's that one, and then there's another one where it was said that the FBI was actually the one to kill Tupac just to try to end some of the gang violence that was going on between Bloods and Crip. There was another one that said that it was actually Suge Knight who had set something up because it was rumored that Tupac was actually going to try to leave Death Row Records to go on his own. Before
he was done paying his air quote debts back. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And which could be very plausible with how fucking much of a nutcase that Suge Knight was. And then like the more unbelievable conspiracy theories where he's still alive and he's living in Cuba with his aunt that's on the run from the FBI.
She really is?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, she actually really is. Like his aunt.
Oh no shit. What's she on the run from? Like, well, for?
I think it was a Black Panther thing too, wasn't it?
I think I don't know if it actually happened, but I think they said she killed a cop
during like the Black Panther riots.
I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
So they're saying that like he's with her, and that's what I used to always say. Like, oh yeah, he's in Cuba, he's chilling with his sister in Cuba, but it was actually his aunt.
Interesting.
So yeah, she was found guilty of murdering a cop in 1977, but escaped from prison 2 years later.
Oh shit! Where was she? Wow. Wild.
She did a Shawshank Redemption.
No shit, right?
And I think she ended up
Brooks
on the...
was here.
I think she ended up on the FBI's most wanted terrorist list.
Wow. Yeah, she was in the top 10 of the FBI's most wanted list.
Okay, girl.
Yeah, I think they added her to that in 2013 after 35 years of being on the run.
Wow.
35 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, girl. Camouflage. Go on with your bad self.
They've also said that he's still alive, but he's living in Malaysia. There was another one that was completely like bizarre that he was actually what is that rapper's name, Don?
Well, when everyone saw that hologram of him a couple years ago, people went fucking nuts.
Shit. I fucking went nuts.
They were like, "Oh my god, he's reincarnated!" Like people.
I think that was almost like 10 years ago now.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. That was at Coachella.
People went fucking ballistic.
It was awesome.
That's a lot of people thought that they were going to do that again for the Super Bowl when Dr. Dre and Eminem were there.
That was the big hype.
I thought there was a hope when Dre started playing the piano for Tupac's song, but it didn't happen. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. Damn. You missed your chance.
So I want to say it was earlier this year, and I don't know. I think you were on the phone when I was talking about what was his name? Kiefer D. He was Orlando's.
He's the uncle of Orlando Brown.
Okay.
Yeah. He was doing an interview, which he's in jail now for life or something like that.
The interview he did was in 2018, I think.
Oh, it was 2018? Yeah, so I guess he was saying that he was the driver of that Cadillac, and his nephew was in the back seat, and originally he was going to shoot, or the passenger in the front seat was going to shoot, and they couldn't do it, so they ended up passing the gun to Orlando, which Orlando was the one that got his ass beat at the fucking casino.
Yeah. By
like 50 people. And he was the one that actually shot the gun. But that to me would be the most plausible.
Right.
Especially even if I didn't hear that interview, which I just kind of heard clips here and there.
Right.
But even without that interview, that's the most plausible anyway, because
it seems to make the most sense, and it actually fits together to where it could happen.
Right.
And I'm sure you'll get to it, but if you get to the news that happened recently, that fits it more.
Yeah, and that's...
What?
Were you here when we were talking about that?
What?
Yeah, because
I've been here the whole time.
I know, I mentioned that.
What are you talking
the
about?
raid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going to talk about it more.
Oh, I don't really know too much about it.
Oh, so...
And on. Back to you.
They raided a house in Henderson, Nevada.
Yep.
And they did take out iPhones and hard drives and stuff, which it's kind of funny if you think about it, because this happened in 96. So you're thinking, did they take out a computer hard drive from 1996?
Right. Which was the size of a house. Right.
Fuck, even the laptops were that thick.
Right.
Yeah. But the
pointing at my ass for boy.
The name on the search warrant was Dwayne Keith Davis, who is Keefy D.
And Keefy D's actually been dead for almost 30 years.
What's it called? And I think they're also planning on testing bullets that they found.
Yeah, they did find firearm cartridges.
So whose house was this? Did they release whose house this is?
I'm assuming it was his, since it was his name on the warrant. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just wondering, why after all this time, if this dude's been dead for 30 years, is this house still there? You know what I mean?
So the house belonged to a woman named Paula Clemens.
Because he did an interview in 2018.
Oh, I thought you just said he was dead.
No, Keefy D is dead.
Oh,
sorry, Orlando Brown is dead.
Oh, okay, that's
what I meant. That's what I meant.
That's
sorry.
why I was like, if he's been dead for 30 years, well, how is this house still his? All right.
And it's actually Orlando Anderson. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Who the fuck is Orlando Brown?
I think it's an actor.
That's Orlando Bloom.
That's Orlando Brown. I was thinking that too.
Oh.
Orlando Brown. Isn't that the fucking actor for, Raven Simone?
It might be.
Where are we? Who's dead? Who's on first?
What universe are we in?
All right. Let's start over so Allie can get back to where we were. Whose house is this?
The house belongs. The house belongs.
He's not dead.
No.
Okay.
His nephew Orlando Anderson is.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right. I'm here. Lupe lied to me. I just wanted to make sure that one Pac wasn't still alive.
Oh, Lord. Oh, and actually, yeah. Orlando Anderson
Now,
actually died in 98. He was actually killed in 98. And that was a totally unrelated issue.
It's nuts how a celebrity that big that you just have no arrests in, like, what's it been, 30?
27 years.
yeah, that's wild. Like, how does that happen?
But I mean, that's the same thing with the Biggie case. Like,
Nobody's
been
still
charged.
open.
Like, nobody's actually officially been charged for the Biggie case. You know, the Biggie murder. Which that's a whole nother. What the fuck are you doing?
My back really hurts, so I can't sit in this chair anymore. So now I'm just working. Sorry.
Well, I think one other thing Keefe D might have said, I don't know if it's true or not, is I think he said that Biggie was murdered because Puff never paid them for killing Tupac.
Yeah.
Orlando Brown was the actor with Raven Simone, by the way. I did happen to look that up.
We've kept saying Orlando Brown this entire episode. Sorry, everybody.
I think I said it once and then you just ran.
Yeah, I ran with it. Sorry, everybody. It was Orlando Anderson. And Orlando Brown isn't any better anyway.
No, I think he's a whole nother nut job.
He was in major pain, and that's so Raven. So you're welcome. I did my part. Bringing it back.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah.
Working doing stuff over here.
That would be pretty interesting. Like, I would like to see what comes from this whole raid that they did. I guess they took pictures, laptop, ammunition, and stuff like that from this house. So.
Which still blows my mind. Like, it's 30 years ago.
Yeah, but the thing is there's no statute of limitations on murder.
No, I'm just saying you're testing bullets.
But
like,
people have
they
kept
30-year-old?
weirder shit.
Yeah.
I mean, people have kept weirder shit.
Oh. Yeah, look at the cop in your story.
Yeah, dildos.
Dildoids.
Dildos. But fun fact. I don't know. I think you've tried watching Star Wars, right?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So have you ever watched the one with...
I love you more and more with each sentence that you talk about. You know, continue.
Have you ever seen the one with Samuel L. Jackson?
No.
Okay. So he had a character. He played a character named Mace Windu in the Star Wars movies. Mm. Well, it was rumored that George Lucas was looking at Tupac for that role.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting.
Yeah, I think it was just rumored, but I think it was said by someone that worked with Death Row.
Uh-huh.
So, again, I don't know if it's true or not.
Okay, so do you know who the owner of Death Row is now?
Yeah, it's Snoop.
Yep. Snoop Dogg bought Death Row. Yeah.
Which fits, because that's where he started.
Right. And almost died, too, because there was allegedly a hit on Snoop because some shit was going down. Well, for one, Snoop is Crip. And what's his name? Suge was Blood. So that right there was like how was that even possible that they were in the same fucking record company, record label?
Like, Snoop got brought in by Dre, who ultimately forced his way out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and look how he got in. They fucking... I still think that Eazy-E was injected with the AIDS virus by Suge Knight's people. I still think that Eazy-E's death was ultimately the cause of Suge.
gay sex.
I mean, yeah, that's possible too, but you okay over there?
I'm hanging.
Oh, okay.
All my research was done tapped out after the first line, you know?
Doesn't sound like she's gonna let you live that down.
Nope.
Wonderful.
There's a lot of things I won't let you live down.
Nope.
But that's my job as your girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't like that job.
I don't like a lot of jobs.
He doesn't even like it when I don't let him live things down.
Yeah, well, that's our jobs. What are the other jobs that you don't like that I have?
I never said I didn't like multiple jobs. It's just the stuff that you never let shit down with me.
Oh.
She's like, fair enough.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? What do you in all of this, which for some reason I was expecting this to go a lot longer, but I don't know. I suck at storytelling.
I think it's more, well, I mean, he didn't really live that long of a life, so there's not really a whole ton to talk about.
Right.
Right. I mean,
Yeah, but
25 years.
But
You
even
did
though
hit the highlights.
even those 25 years, like there's his life is fucking interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like he lived a hell of a life.
I agree with that 100%. All right. I'll be the bad guy. I don't think he's alive still.
I mean, you're not the bad guy.
I know.
Just-
But the way he just looked at me said that I'm the bad guy.
I was just waiting for you to see what you were gonna say.
No, I mean, here's the thing. So I did not know that, like, once they put him, or prior to them putting him into a medically induced coma, that, like, he was so restless that, like, he was, like, trying to get up and everything like that. And, like, your prior story to, like, you know, him getting up and, like, going into the court, like, after being shot, what do you say, 4 times?
4 times,
Yeah.
5 times.
Well, right. So
Yeah.
he could have possibly came out of this. So, I mean,
Well, look at 50 Cent. He's alive after getting shot
Shot 9 times.
and
Yeah.
once right here in the jaw.
right. So, I mean,
And the thing is, like, they have even asked Suge Knight himself, "Do you think Pac is still alive?"
yeah.
And even he said, "Well, I mean, it's Pac. Anything's possible with Pac."
Yeah.
He never actually said, "Well, no, he's dead."
Right.
He actually even said, "Nobody's seen his body after he was dead."
Right.
And he also paid somebody $3 million to cremate him 1 day after he was allegedly dead.
Right. I mean, I don't know. So, I think he's dead, but I think that there's something fucked up about the whole fact that, like, he was put into a medically induced coma when he possibly did not have to be put into a medically induced coma.
Right.
There's something sketchy with me about that part. And that's just me thinking, like,
Like maybe they killed him during that time instead.
something's weird there.
Uh-huh.
It smells fishy. I don't like it. That's my outtake. That's my takeaway from it all. So,
I mean, yes, maybe because I've always been a Tupac fan that I don't want to believe he's dead, especially with how weird the case is in general.
do you think that with everything that's happening right now and literally still, like, you know, coming to light, that you'll, if they bring up new evidence and everything like that, or if they find anything, that it'll change your mind?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not like,
You're not totally closed-minded to it?
yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not calling you closed-minded, but I'm just saying, like, what would the evidence have to be?
Oof.
What would they have to find?
Lupe's like, they have to fucking dig him up and show me the body.
Literally.
But that's the thing, like There's no body because they cremated him one day after he was already dead.
Allegedly.
So I don't know.
Don, what do you think they're gonna find in this house, if anything?
See, that's where I don't know, because like I said, it's 30 years ago. What could possibly still... I mean, because I know I read the search warrant was looking for like different like writings and like notes or whatever.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to
see what how it develops.
Yeah. Can you wait till we're done?
No.
And the album I was thinking of is called Loyal to the Game. It was fully produced by Eminem.
Oh.
So yeah. There was some other weird shit that was going on too. Let's see, it was a $3 million
I'm bringing my own chair down here.
I offered you that one.
Fuck that chair.
I've offered you all those.
I don't want those. Bring my own chair down here.
Okay.
That chair's had Dan's ass in it.
Those haven't.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very, very odd case. And how... Oh, there was another thing, like, on the death certificate said that he was 6'2", 215 pounds.
He was tiny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not tiny, but like he was not 215 pounds. Right. How tall was he? Like 5'9"?
I think he was 5'9", 5'10", like 165 pounds.
Right. He was like my size.
Like according to his, I think his driver's license said he was 5'9" or 5'10",
right.
165 pounds.
My size.
And his death certificate was...
So all of a sudden he got medieval stretched. And put on another fucking human?
Yeah. Yeah. And the...
Body swap. I smell body swap.
That's what I'm saying.
I smell body swap.
That's exactly what I'm saying, because even the alleged autopsy photo that doesn't look like him, there's actually tattoos that aren't on him that are supposed to be on him. He had tattoos everywhere on his stomach.
Right. I've
so there was
what one Pac looks like.
So there was a picture of him, and he's missing tattoos.
Do you think that could have been... Oh my God, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Do you think that could have been... Because, you know, when they do an autopsy, they have to actually, like... They do a cut, an incision on you, where the suture could have been put?
Well...
I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Right. So, okay, so... so this... And that's weird, like... I was going to show you this, but I mean... This is difficult to, like... Because it's inside, and then this... So there's two pictures here.
All right, I'm looking at them, yeah.
And you can see how dark he is in the autopsy photo, and you can see how light he is.
Right.
That was one thing. And there was something on his chest or on his stomach that there was a tattoo missing that's not there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I buy all that. I buy the whole fact that there's literally like 75 pounds and a fucking foot of him that's not there. That's like the difference. That's a whole ass different human size.
Yeah.
That's like putting me and D next to each other and being like, yeah, they look the same. Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously. That doesn't... what? Think about it.
Yeah.
Like, her up to here on me, and, like, I've got, like, 75 pounds on her.
Yeah, it's weird. That's what I think it was body swap, too. That's why I think, like... That's why I lean more towards that he could possibly still be alive.
Either that. I don't know if he's still alive. But something sketchy happened in the hospital where they had to do a fucking body swap.
Right.
So, like, they put him into this coma and they fucking killed him. And so they had to body swap him. Or some...
Which would make sense then, because then it's like, well, an autopsy is going to figure out how they died and where maybe...
Toxicology is going to come back, all this kind of shit. Something about that, the medically induced coma just doesn't sit right with me. The second you said it, it just doesn't sit right with me. That's where I'm fucking tripping out
and
about
like
it.
Another thing too, like Suge said himself, he was like, I was with Pac in the ambulance and we were laughing and joking on the way to the hospital, and even when we were in the hospital we were still joking around and laughing and everything like that. He's like, how can somebody go from being so good to not?
And okay, I get that there is a difference just medically. I understand that people need to be sedated because your blood pressure can make blood pump through, you know what I mean? And you've got open wounds. Mm-hmm. I get that. You need to be sedated. You need to be calm. Okay, I get that. Yeah. Do you need to be in a coma? I don't know. I
mean, I guess it could be because of where one of the gunshots hit. Like, I guess one of the gunshots hit his lung.
Okay.
And they had to remove one of his lungs.
Okay. And so maybe, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I was not there. But...
You were also 3 years old.
Correct. But my point being is... Never mind. My point being is something is missing. Somebody's lying. Mm-hmm. Whether it be Suge, the doctors, or the whole fucking thing is false. Mm-hmm. Something somewhere doesn't add up because I get that with adrenaline, you can go from being laughing and joking in the ambulance. Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. I've seen people be fine in an ambulance, and when you get into that hospital, you crash. Because it all fucking hits you that, oh shit, mm-hmm. I'm in big trouble. You know what I mean? Well, not in big trouble, but you know what I mean? Like, I am injured.
Yeah.
It's something about those hospital lights and the sterile environment that you're in. All of a sudden, reality sets in.
I mean, shit, I get like that even when I'm not sick going into the hospital. I fucking hate hospitals.
But that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It all of a sudden hits you.
Uh-huh.
So that to me makes sense. But
I think one reason they also put him under in the coma was they didn't want him to try and get out of bed because I think they had him on life support machines. Mm-hmm. And he kept trying to get out of bed. Which would make sense.
Right. But why is he on...
I mean, why couldn't they just tie him down?
I mean, it would make more sense to have him restrained and sedated than possibly... I mean, you can have him sedated without him being in a coma, I feel like. I mean, I know that. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And maybe they tried to sedate him, and they they put him in the biggest coma of his life.
The ultimate
The
coma.
ultimate coma. And I hate to laugh, but I mean seriously.
Right.
And they kept him on life support for 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
To, like, put up the ruse that, like, oh, well, we did our best for 6 days.
There was another, like, kind of, it was a stupid theory. Kind of funny.
I know I read that his mom was the one that told the doctors to stop performing the life-saving.
No more resuscitation.
DNR, do not resuscitate.
Yeah.
Because I think he ended up going into cardiac arrest after they removed his right lung. And they couldn't stop the hemorrhaging.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they say that he officially died of a heart attack?
Yeah, respiratory failure. Because he went in cardiac arrest.
So did you ever hear the 7-day conspiracy about it?
It's one of his album titles.
Yeah, it's one of his album titles, which is weird because, like, the number 7 was always prominent in his life. Like, he was shot on September 7th. He was 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. He died at 4:03. 4 plus 3 is 7. Like, there was so much 7s. Technically, they say he died 6 days later, but if you go by day, it was actually 7 days later. And then they said that he would return after 7 years, but he never did. It's been 27 years.
Here's to 37.
So, yeah, it's a very interesting, like, it's an interesting case. And other than the Orlando Anderson theory, I feel like Suge Knight had something to do with it. 100%. Because Suge was a loose cannon.
Yeah, he definitely was.
I mean, he's in jail serving 28 years because he ran somebody over with his vehicle.
Yep.
So,
I always laughed at the story about him and Vanilla Ice.
Oh,
which Vanilla Ice says isn't true.
Yeah.
I'd say it wasn't true too if that happened.
Yeah. So, Vanilla Ice's song "Ice Ice Baby," I guess somebody else wrote it, and he was taking all the credit for it. And it was one of Suge Knight's friends or something like that actually wrote it. And Suge Knight was it Suge Knight or somebody else held Vanilla Ice over a fucking...
The story is that Suge Knight held him over the balcony.
Yeah, held him over the balcony and said, "You need to give him rights to the music."
For the love of God. Like, has anyone heard that song? Who cares? Let it go. Not the body over the balcony. Let the song go. Like, it... Really? I mean, I get it, but like...
That was a hot song back in the 90s.
I understand. Okay, I get it. We all know the words. We all like it. But we all
that's pushing it.
We all like to laugh at it. Because we all...
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen.
And on that note, you can find us on all your local podcast platforms. I have to go.
On Instagram at the 3 Guys Pod 2021. On Facebook at Impulsive Thoughts. This should drop Monday. I have a lot of editing to do. Joined here with Mr. Donnie Rowe to my right.
See ya.
And Ms. Alli P to my left.
Meow.
And Dano, well, he was on, but he's gone. So bye. And, yeah. And I'm your favorite host with the most, Lupe.
I thought you were going to blue balls her.
And we out this bitch. Peace.